Hello and welcome to SAFEchild's Virtual Fundraising Luncheon. I'm Ken Smith. I'm so honored to be with you today. It's a little different. We can't actually physically be together, but we want to connect with you virtually and show and tell you the life-changing work happening here at SAFEchild. Now, during this event, you're going to learn how SAFEchild is building a resilient, compassionate, and trauma-informed community, and how you can join alongside their team to eliminate child abuse and strengthen families right here in our Wake County community. You are going to hear from experts in science, family health, community engagement, so you can learn how to be the one to someone in need. Before we get to all that, we want to introduce you to two very special people, Anna and Lou. Anna's a mom. She never thought she'd fall victim to postpartum depression, but she did. And Lou, he's a dad who just wanted better tools to be a better dad. Both families were directly impacted by SAFEchild.
I was the last of my sisters to get married, and I always knew I wanted to be a mom. And my husband and I, we got married, we went on our honeymoon. After that, we were like, we're gonna start trying, I guess, as they say, and we were extremely lucky.
So I came to New York about 20 years ago. So I was there for school. I worked over there. My wife, and we have 3 kids, so 2 boys, and the daughter is 3 years old. We work pretty hard and the long commutes in New York City, and we have 3 little kids growing up fast, and we wanted to spend a little more time with them. So we decided to make a move down here to spend a little more time with the kids.
My pregnancy was amazing. I really loved being pregnant, even though, I knew that there was risk. There had been postpartum depression with both of my sisters, and so I knew I was at risk for this, and yet I just refused to believe it was gonna happen to me.
Right now, I'm just staying at home dad. So I was a computer programmer in New York. Once we moved down here, the more I spend time with the kids, the more I realized that I really need some help. Right? So feeding them, it's the easy part. It's the developmental challenges that we see day in and day out. And I felt like it was a show of weakness to ask for help.
After Calvin was born, I definitely felt like I had baby blues. The more challenges that I encountered, the harder it was getting, and the amount of time in between the tears were getting shorter and shorter. We have a ton of pictures of where I'm holding Calvin and I'm smiling, and on the outside, I think I did a really great job of fooling everybody. I was able to put a smile on my face, but when everybody would leave and I was alone with the baby, I was like just constantly crying.
What powerful stories from Anna and Lou. We'll hear from them a bit later on, but before we do that, I think it's important to discuss the concept behind the study of ACEs, and that's an acronym that stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences.
So ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences, and those are potentially traumatic events that happen for a child before their 18th birthday. That can be things like experiencing intimate partner violence in the home, or domestic violence, you might know that term. Could be dealing with a parent who has a mental illness issue, depression, or some other mental illness, physical or emotional abuse or neglect. Even witnessing community violence, and those things can really, really impact children's developing brain and then have lifelong impacts as well.
What that really means is that bad things can happen in the life of a child. What we've learned about ACEs is that they're common. More than half of us have them.
It's not new information that, if bad things happen when you're young, they could, affect you later on. But it comes from, in the mid-90s, there was a study. What the study found is about 60%, or if you think like 6 out of 10 folks that have experienced at least one ACE. And here in North Carolina, it's about 1 in 4 children.
On a child, the effects are much bigger because the child's brain is growing and developing, and those stressors actually change the way that the brain is built. The more ACEs you have, the greater the chances that you can have a lot of really serious illnesses like cancer or depression.
When we think about the public health impact, if we can think about our society's biggest issues that we're trying to solve, when we think about incarceration rates, when we think about the juvenile justice system, or even the issues that we're having with some of our children in the education system, over 85% of the children that end up in juvenile justice have experience with ACEs. It impacts, homelessness rates. It impacts our substance use issues when we have the, opioid crisis we're, contending with, or any other substance misuse issues.
There are many things that can happen in the life of a child that are hard for kids to deal with. So when things do happen, there are ways to heal. SAFEchild does so many things. One of the things they do is getting the message out, because all parents need support.
We need folks to realize that help is available and that it's here and that we are here for you.
Trauma can heal, and it can heal at any age. And there are so many ways to heal.
Parents who may not have had the chance to deal with some of their own childhood traumatic experiences have the opportunity at SAFEchild to mitigate those effects that they might have on their children through those preventative parenting programs and support groups.
They have supports for parents that have had mood disorders. They have supports for parents that just want some skills, because it's a lot easier to be patient with a 2-year-old when you know what is appropriate behavior and expectations of a 2-year-old. So sending that message of support to all parents is really, really important.
In addition to our programs, SAFEchild has taken on and become a community leader in convening different organizations and partners from multiple sectors to the table to say, okay, what does it look like for us to address this in the community? What does it look like for us to think with one another, share information so that we're no longer working in silos. Mental health information that was just, may have been reserved for those in the mental health field, we can share that information with educators. So working across, our divides to be able to share information and problem solve collectively. And for organizations who are looking for guidance, we're happy to let you know what other organizations have done so that if you're looking to implement trauma-informed care or other best practices around resilience and responding to individuals who may have had trauma, we can connect you with partners in that way as well.
None of us is an island. We all need other people. Getting that message out prevents child abuse. And child abuse is a terrible ACE. The more we help parents not only know what they should do, but help them gain that skill set and that confidence so that they know how to handle things and they believe in themselves, all of that is incredibly helpful. And all of us can play a part in that.
It is absolutely amazing to hear how the science of ACEs and trauma and other factors are impacting the developing brains of our children. Sometimes it's scary, but there's good news. Let's see what's being done to bring healing and hope to our children.
For me, the way that I interpret resiliency is really building the psychological sort of capabilities to deal with adversity and not falling apart. Resilience is important because it really, in essence, not only allows an individual the opportunity and the resources to be successful, but it also puts a family in a position where they have what they need to succeed beyond the family unit, but then also sort of in the community in general. One of the things I think a community needs is, one, access to public health, social services, and health and wellness related resources. SAFEchild provides resources for families to build those protective factors so parents get an opportunity to really learn about what parenting is about. And in addition, they get the opportunity to build those strong connections with their kids. When you think about resiliency, you're also talking about connectedness and having that one person in your life that makes a difference when adversity shows up. And for me, SAFEchild provides the resources to communities to navigate that. I always like to go back to the individual. I think that's where any advocacy on an issue, any sort of movement and progress starts. So one is, for me, I would say, is understand what SAFEchild's sort of mission is in the community. We're having a conversation about adverse childhood experiences is understanding that for yourself. So individualize that, right? Then you get a bigger picture of the impact that SAFEchild's not only already having, but then also how you can contribute to that.
I really started to kind of accept that I might have postpartum depression and anxiety, and I recognized that if I didn't find some sort of a resource, I wasn't going to be able to be there for Calvin in the way that I needed to.
We have three, and it's getting challenging just to maintain the daily routine. So we wanted to be more proactive, getting help, asking for help. So we want to get some help before it becomes like really challenging. I want to be equipped with tools and knowledges how to help them.
One of the photographs I shared with you guys is a pretty raw picture of me, and I'm holding Calvin, and I'm sobbing in the picture, basically. And so out of desperation, I posted it in this anonymous mom group on Facebook. And Megan Roberts of SAFEchild commented on that post and said, I have a group that helps women that are dealing with what you're going through, and it really helped me when I was going through it.
SAFEchild, I came in exactly this room, and I found two instructors with name tags, Ginger and Laura. Their knowledge on the parenting skills, also they have the tool sets that they have been giving us, like what to say, how to express their feelings, how to acknowledge their feelings and needs, and how we as a parents can help them and guide them.
Moms Supporting Moms was the resource for me that really made a difference. I think of just incrementally how much better my days were because of that, and how quickly I went from just being in such a dark place to on the road to feeling better. And I could not imagine what it must be like for women who don't have the same kind of resources.
Before I attended the class, when I took my kids to the playground or any kind of activity, I would usually just let them play. But the classes were saying that being with the child, being playful with the child, actually helped them develop more with the binding experience. So we were at this museum, and my middle child was just building blocks, stuff. I got down on the floor, I built with him silly things that he wanted to build for maybe an hour. When we got home at night, he was having some issues, but he came to me for help. That was really different because usually he would go to mom for help. But that day he actually came to me for help.
I've been fortunate enough to recover, but I still come to group because I want to be the one to give back to those other mothers.
SAFEchild as an organization, they can give us the guidance, the knowledge, and the tools for us to become better parents. And in turn, hopefully, they will be a better parents for their own children. And then it goes on from generations to generations.
It's vital to this community. It's a lifeline for these women. Anyone watching this, I would say, you have to be the one.
So I hope parents out there who struggling go seek help. It's a show of strength, not weakness.
Isn't it great to see the positive results in the lives of Anna and Lou? And they're just two examples of the life-changing work happening here at SAFEchild. So listen, we've heard the science, we've heard the mission, we've seen the positive results. And it's also therapeutic to be reminded that a high ACE score is nothing to be ashamed of. So the question becomes, how can you be the one to someone in need? Our path forward here at SAFEchild largely depends on your kindness and your generosity. Here now is Matt Ferragudo, president of SAFEchild's Board of Directors.
Thank you, Ken. And thank you to our incredible speakers for their willingness to share their stories and illustrate the mission and impact of SAFEchild through this virtual platform. 7 years ago, I attended my first SAFEchild luncheon, and I was simultaneously horrified to learn about the number of children in our community who are victims of abuse and neglect, and overwhelmed to learn about the number of ways in which SAFEchild is supporting parents and helping children to grow up safely and confidently. I've been involved in this extraordinary organization ever since. Anna said it best. SAFEchild is a lifeline to this community in so many ways. In my 6 years on the board of directors, I've seen SAFEchild continue to evolve to meet the needs of this community and our neighbors. That's especially true over the last 6 months, when some of our programs have had to pause and others have needed substantial investments to adapt to the virtual landscape. Under the best of conditions, parenting is hard work. It's stressful, it's scary, and we're terrified we're not making the best decisions for our kids. Everyone in this virtual room knows that the pandemic has exacerbated the challenges of parenting. It's harder than ever to be a good dad, to be a good husband, and to be a good employee all at the same time. When parents are stressed, when families are cooped up together all day long, and when the economic downturn puts jobs at risk, abuse and neglect rise significantly. In addition, because our children aren't going to school every day, we've lost one of our most critical sources of reporting, our teachers. What that means is that the number of cases of abuse and neglect being reported in Wake County is declining, but the severity of those cases being reported is significantly higher. SAFEchild's Advocacy Center, parenting classes, and community initiatives are critical to ensuring that every child in Wake County has the opportunity to grow up safe, healthy, and secure. I am so proud to be a part of this organization, and I'm here today to ask each of you to ensure that SAFEchild is there when families ask for help, and to provide the kind of programs that reduce the incidence of abuse. Lou told us that SAFEchild's programs don't just benefit a family today, they benefit families for generations to come by helping us all to develop the coping and communication skills we need to break the cycle of abuse. During this pandemic, your support is more critical than ever before. By being here today, you're demonstrating your belief in SAFEchild and its mission. So I'm asking each of you to stretch and make a financial contribution that will enable SAFEchild to expand its impact in our community. I'm standing in SAFEchild's Advocacy Center on Kidd Road. Just this week, the Advocacy Center evaluated 8 additional children from our community who were suspected to be victims of abuse or neglect. If you join me in donating $5,000 to SAFEchild today, you will ensure that 3 additional children who are victims of physical or sexual abuse in our community will get the comprehensive care they need. If you contribute $1,800, you can provide positive parenting classes for 2 families, including families like Lou's. If you contribute $1,200 today, you will provide online and in-person support to moms like Anna who are facing perinatal mental health challenges. If you donate $600, you'll help SAFEchild to provide mentoring and to support to 2 new moms during their baby's first year. A gift of $300 helps SAFEchild to afford the video editing software we need to provide expanded online learning resources for parents. And a gift of $150 provides the essential supplies for a newborn, including a porta-crib, a teething blanket, and more. These gifts can be made in one payment, or they can be spaced out in monthly payments over the year. So I want everyone in this virtual room to open up your browser, go to safechildnc.org, and click Donate right now. I want to thank all of you for being a part of SAFEchild's first virtual annual luncheon. While we miss being with everyone in person, we're so grateful that you joined us today. Thank you for being the one for SAFEchild, and thank you for being the one for children in our community.